So we'll go right into action. And I'll go right into our message. So it says, good evening, sisters. I have a problem. I'm dating this lady I'm planning to marry next year. I requested that we go and see her parents, but she declined and rather suggested we go to meet her pastor first. She also said that it's only her pastor, only when her pastor approves of our relationship that we can go and meet her parents. I initially declined and told her mother to convince her daughter that it's best for me to come and see the family first before going to see the pastor. Unfortunately, her mom wasn't able to convince her, but rather advised me to oblige with her daughter's request. I reluctantly accepted and went to see the pastor. To my surprise, I was the second man my girlfriend had introduced to the pastor as a suitor. What surprised me more was that the pastor said he was going to pray about us, as in the other man and myself, and revert in 2 weeks about who a better suitor would be. It's past 2 weeks, and I've still not heard anything.
It wasn't you.
Well, I told my girlfriend's mom about it, and she eventually informed my girlfriend's father. This did not sit down well with my girlfriend, and she has stopped picking my calls. Please, it's eating me up and I need your help. That's our first message for the evening. Since Sandra is already passing commentary, no, you go first. Here we go. What do you think?
I'm sorry, is it Lotto? Or is Cha-Cha?
Maybe.
I mean, okay, so first of all, I find it interesting that her mother said yes, go and see the pastor first. Then the pastor says there's two of you.
And he's going to pray about it.
I'm confused that wasn't when he decided I won't do this anymore, because why does the girlfriend that I want to marry next year have another suitor? Like, doesn't he find anything wrong with the fact that there's two of you in her life?
Right.
There are all sorts of implications. Are they sexually active? Is she sexually active with both of them?
Probably
or
not.
with just one of them? Why is this decision up to the pastor? The fact that he hasn't heard from them. In fact, I wouldn't even have waited. If it was my brother and if he told me this, I'd have said, look, dog, move on. But the fact that he hasn't heard from them and it shouldn't be eating you up, my dear. The writing, biblically, as they say, the writing on the wall. Advise yourself.
All right. Writing's on the wall, she says. Rosina, you hold the same opinion?
Well, definitely, because I have a problem with people who refer stuff like that to their pastors. Because first and foremost, marriage, no matter what, with the family support, all those things are important. But at the end of the day, you and the woman are going to be a couple.
Right.
So right from the word go, the two of you should be in sync about what you want to do before you even start seeing family. So the two of you are not in sync. It's different if maybe, I don't know. The lady needs to be sure that, you know what, I would love to marry you. I want to marry you. We're going to do this. Now, what's the next step? Let's go and see my parents. You understand? And she should even be one of the people pushing that, you know what, I think this is the best day to see my parents, stuff like that. But she's not doing that. She's telling you that, so let's go to my pastor first. And this pastor too has boldly told you that, Charlie,
you're not the only one.
There are two applicants. Only shortlisted applicants will be contacted. So the two of you are probably the shortlisted applicants. You understand? And they give you 2 weeks. And the Holy Spirit cannot be rushed.
I love it.
Do you understand? So no matter what he says, I mean, you don't have a choice but to just, and I don't think that you want to start your marriage on that kind of a note. Because what it means is that decisions about having children is going to be that of the pastor. Decisions about whether, what work you should do, probably even how many times you get intimate in a week and all of that will be taken by the pastor. The style you should do,
missionary.
All those things will be decisions that will be taken by the pastor. You understand? So looking at all of this, Charlie, is just too much hassle. For me, I don't think it's a marriage that I would advise my brother to get into. Charlie, run. It's not something you should get into.
Right. And the bit about, her finding out that, like, he had sort of gone behind her and spoken to her parents about it. Well, her mom who told her dad, and she's not picking his calls.
I think that part,
no, that part, you know what I think? Personally, what I think is that, the mother knows that there's more than one suitor.
Yeah.
And the daughter has told the mother that, actually, this guy, he is very serious about me, but this is the one I actually like. It's probably the mother's idea to even go to the pastor. But because of the way this guy has been persistent, it's possible that the woman's husband is not in on the whole deal.
Going on.
So for the man to go and see the father, for the father to probably be accepting of this new guy, like, okay, you're the one who wants to see my daughter, is pissing the lady off, because the father is probably more reasonable than the mother and the pastor put together.
Also, I wanted to add, that people who can't openly say that I don't want you, and so they'll put all sorts of obstacles and they will make you be the one to leave. So, like I said, the moment you went to the pastor, in fact, the moment she refused to let you meet her parents was one obstacle. Going to the pastor and finding out there was a second man was a second obstacle. The pastor not calling you was a third obstacle. Now you've gone to see her father and she's stopped picking. Basically, now you have given her the reason to say, why did you go and see my father?
Right.
So I stopped picking your call.
Right.
So now she's going to put it on you for doing what you weren't supposed to do and leave.
Right.
Leave, man. Leave.
Sabby, let me bring you in. What do the South Africans have to say?
I'm very confused by this. I'm not confused, actually. So I'm not understanding the go to see the pastor thing. The pastor is a human being like all of us. Okay? I'm not saying anything wrong with the pastor, but the pastor is also a human being. So it's almost like she's taking away any responsibility from herself. And so if the pastor says, oh, no, you're not the right one for me, then the blame doesn't sit on her. But she's the one who's having she's the one who's having a relationship with this man. So I'm not understanding this. We need to go see the pastor first. Number two, she says, we can't go see my parents. We have to see the pastor first. But he's been talking to her mother. So talking to the mother is the same as seeing the parents. Like, I don't understand. If he's got a way or he's got a 911 digit to call the mother, what is the difference? So she's saying, we're not going to go see the parents, we must go see my pastor. But he keeps on calling her mommy. Like, I don't also, why is he talking to the mother only? Like, what? I don't, like, where's the father in the situation? Like, and besides the mother and besides the pastor, he should be talking to her. Right. Like, nine, clearly. Listen, this is what I want to do. You know what my intentions are. Are you on the same page? Do you want to build a family with me? Do you see yourself with me? Are you in love with me? The pastor just told me about another suitor. I had no idea there was another suitor. So what's a one?
Right.
Like, it's very simple to me. There are other people being put in the equation who have no place to be in the equation. He should be asking the person he's having a relationship with so that he can either move on or make an informed decision. Right now, he's acting like a victim.
Right. I mean, I can't help but agree with all the sisters, Charlie. The writing is on their wall. I mean, Uncle. No Longton. She's not picking your calls anymore. She needed an excuse. You've given her one.
That's it.
Pastor hasn't called you. What else do you want to know? I know it's hard. I know you really love her, else you wouldn't have listened to the show. But, whoa, what? Are you going to beg her for the rest of your life to be with you? Meanwhile, you know there's another man in the picture. Save yourself some time. And save yourself from heartbreak. Or heartaches, right? Message from Henry says, I have a couple of questions. 1, how attached is your girlfriend to her pastor? 2, is she the kind that sort of fears and respects her pastor's opinion over everybody else's? 3, is she the kind that always wants her pastor's approval over certain issues, like she can't think for herself? 4, does she look like someone who will respect you as a husband and put you first in your marriage? Now, if she is more inclined to listen to her pastor more than you, then her family, then brother, please tread carefully and cautiously, because it can become problematic in your marriage. The fact that she's angry at you for informing her parents is also some weight. If she keeps ignoring you, take a hint and assume that she's chosen the other person. And finally, move on. Albie says, what's wrong with men of today? Can't you read between the lines when a woman you're pursuing has a different agenda? My guy, you never had a girlfriend or fiance in the first place.
Ouch.
Move on. Kofi says, honestly, our generation should go back to the old ways of marrying. When you hear some of these stories, you ask yourself, what's wrong with this generation? Whose fault is it? Our parents, religious bodies, modernization, or stupidity? We keep fooling ourselves with this relationship, marriage thing a bit too much. Until the day most of us use our heads instead of our hearts in relationships, we'll keep hearing these kinds of stories. My guy, you don't need advice. All you need is using your head and you'll be okay. My dear, says Akosia, thank God and run. These kinds of women are the ones who worship their pastors. Their lives revolve around their pastors, and marrying them means trouble. Every day you will hear, my pastor this, my pastor that, and they will never give you peace. Koku says, listen up, bro. The signs are clear that you're dating a lady who has been indoctrinated and takes the words of her so-called pastor as law above those of her parents. She clearly is immature, not ready for marriage. It's difficult, but I'd advise you to forget her and move on. Nee says, too many red flags, brother. 1, she introduced someone else to the pastor as a potential suitor, and clearly that person is still in the picture, so she's definitely cheating on you. 2, the fact that she respects the pastor more than her biological parents is a no-no. And finally, the pastor is sleeping with her.
Ouch.
How do you know that?
Possible.
I mean, well,
It's
anyway,
possible,
says
but-
she has stopped picking your calls. Do the math. Final message from Alex. Now he says, that's very disrespectful of her. The traditional marriage is the actual marriage. That's when the bride is given out to the groom, and her parents are very instrumental in this. That is why the absence of the parents, family members would have... Okay, in the absence of the parents, family members would have to stand in for them. Anything that happens in the church is just a touch-up. No church wedding will take place if the bride has not been given out traditionally. As she does not respect her parents, it's the same treatment that she'll give you in marriage. Anything you discuss as a couple, her pastor must first approve of it. Look at how she is mad over this. It's a red flag. You can't cope. That's why you're seeking help. Advise yourself. Thank you so much for watching Sister Sister on your favorite City TV. Now, don't forget, if you want some more exciting content, you can always subscribe to our YouTube channel. We call it the City Tube. And don't forget to click on the bell to receive notifications for fresh updates.
Sister Sister, every Friday at 9 p.m. only on City TV.